Food and weight obsession can be exhausting. Losing weight, gaining weight, dieting, feeling like a failure because you missed a workout, binged, overate, or gained all the weight back. The cycle is endless and it can be maddening. But I'm here to say you can stop the mental madness. You can take back control of your food behaviors, but you have to face your fears, you have to ask for help, and make a change. I am Leslie M. Thornton, permanent weight loss coach from hpwl.co. This is hypnosis for permanent weight loss, and I know you can make this happen. On this podcast, you will hear how to stop the mental madness, love your body, trust your food decisions so you can create a life of happiness, freedom, and inner peace. How challenging holidays can be when it comes to food, body, weight, body image, stress, anxiety. 2 decades of my life trying very hard before every vacation or before every holiday to set myself up for success and stay consistent on the food plan that I knew I wanted to be following. And I know how stressful and anxiety provoking it also can be when you come home and maybe you weren't as perfect. Pardon the dog barking. She's very good at barking these days. Zara, could you come here, please? Thank you. You don't need to bark at everything. Or my dog lovers out there. Yeah. If you weren't perfect on your food plan that you set out that you wanted to follow, or maybe you weighed yourself before you went and then you weigh yourself after you come home and you see that the scale went up 3 pounds or however many pounds, and now you feel that clenching, you feel that gripping, you feel that scared, you feel that anxious, you feel that panic of like, oh my God, like how am I ever going to? Or you whip yourself back into shape and it's like a fearful reaction, and or just a feeling of like, well, who cares? And then the slippery slope for the rest of the summer, now that I just had all of the burgers and hot dogs and alcoholic beverages, like I'm just gonna forget it. I'm just gonna enjoy myself. But it's kind of like you trick yourself, right? You trick yourself in those times, those periods of time where you're like, don't care, I'm just gonna enjoy myself, until the one day that you see a photograph of yourself, or your pants, or you have to buy the next pant size up, or fill in the blank of whatever triggers you. And then again, you wake up from that and you're like, oh my God. And then you're like, why did I ever let myself do that? And that was a terrible time. And I shouldn't have let myself go like that. And the cycle is maddening. It's so exhausting. And I literally thought that was going to be my only existence. And I want to let you know that it does not have to be that way. You can have a totally peaceful time away around food, a totally peaceful time away on vacation. If you've been listening to these podcasts recently, I talk about the contrast between this past fall when I went to Europe and, several years ago when I went to Australia and New Zealand. And recently, just actually had a really good contrast the last couple days. I had one person who I came onto a call with to kind of discover what was going on for her. And she wanted to lose weight. It was new for her that her thighs were touching. It really bothered her. No judgment on anybody. This is everybody's experience is valid. And she was a very health conscious person and did not want that to be happening, wanted to lose the weight. So as I dug a little bit deeper of like, okay, well, what would it be like if you could never, lose the weight again, just to see what would come up? And she's like, well, I just don't think that's true. Like, I believe that I'm going to be able to lose it. Amazing, awesome, solid. And then it's like, I could tell again when I was asking deeper, like that mental and emotional turmoil of like a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety, it did not exist for her. Right. So then it ends up being like this, my program, my system, my support. While I did recommend for her to do a neurolinguistic programming personal breakthrough session because she's into like, past life regression and a lot of deep inner subconscious healing work. She's into hypnosis. So like she's kind of ready for that like next level versus still needing the emotional and mental support. I've had other conversations this week, one today, that specifically was like, they're like, I have been given this food plan. This is the way that I'm supposed to follow it. And when I'm not following it, I'm really upset with myself. I'm really angry with myself. I'm really frustrated. I'm really disappointed. I'm really sad. I can't get out of it. I can't get back on track with myself. Like, that swirl is a mental and emotional issue. It's a problem. If you master that swirl, there is nothing that you can't do in regards to your health. You will be able to become like that woman who was not concerned. Now, on the holidays, going back to not concerned, my weight may go up after a holiday or a vacation or something like that. And the old me, again, used to panic, freak out, start to overanalyze, get upset with myself for overindulging, asking myself what I need to do to fix it immediately. Now. My current self literally thinks nothing of that number. It's like, oh, that makes sense. I ate a bunch of food. And I have total faith, but this came over time. It's not going to be automatic, that my body will go back down, that the inflammation will go back down, that the scale will go back down, that because I will naturally be settling into my routine. Now, with that part said, okay, because it's like, oh, naturally settling into my routine. Now, there's a keyword in this of it's my routine, my way of eating, my aligned, authentic way that I desire to nourish and satisfy my body, my mind, my spirit. I did a lot of work. I had to let go of all food rules, all shoulds, all have tos, okay, in order to get to this space. Now, if I authentically chose, like this woman I spoke to yesterday, she had authentically chosen to be eating extremely clean, whole food, blah, blah, blah. She chose it, and therefore it's easy for her to do it. But what if you authentically like sweets? What if you authentically like alcohol? What if you authentically want to be able to go out and enjoy social situations, parties, etc.? And then you are putting all these shoulds on yourself from previous diets that you followed. You're abusing yourself. You're saying you need to follow this. You have to follow this. This is how you have to do it. This is how you should be doing it. But nothing lasts if it's not something you have chosen authentically and empoweredly for yourself. So I got to a space where I threw out all the rules, all the shoulds and shouldn'ts, and I went into this discovery phase, which I guide my clients in doing with themselves on what foods do I actually like without all the science and the awareness that I have about what they're doing badly to my body and how they are bad for me and how they're going to have me gain weight and become inflamed and get cancer and die. Right? Like that was where my brain went to with all the education that I had on health. What can start out being just being healthy and health conscious can accelerate into being unhealthy mentally and emotionally. And if you've been following me for a long time, you know I was in that lane after a while. If you feel totally good about following your food plan and and it is super healthy and super clean, there is nothing that this conversation, just keep doing it. If there are mental and emotional breakdowns when you don't follow it, or when weight gain happens, or that is the opportunity, okay? That is underneath healing that negative emotional swirl. What's wrong with me? Why can't I? I'm fat. I'm not good enough. Nobody's going to like me at this size. I'm not attractive. Don't take my photo. Don't look at me. I can't look at myself in the mirror. I'm disgusted with myself. I'm gross. I'm disgusting. These are, okay? None of that is healthy. And we may know that, right? You've probably heard other people say you're very hard on yourself, or, you would absolutely never say any of those things to anybody that you love, or even if anybody, even on your worst enemy, you hopefully wouldn't even say those things. So, but we're saying it to ourselves. And those thoughts lead to even more negative emotions, which lead to more self-abuse, more numbing, more binging. And that's the only way that you know how to soothe yourself at this time. So it deserves compassion. It deserves forgiveness. Okay? Because if you judge yourself for self-abuse, then that prevents you from learning and healing and getting past to the next level. So that's the difference. And for you this holiday, okay, post-holiday, if you're listening to this as the podcast comes out, or pre-holiday as you're watching this as it's being recorded in the Facebook group, invitation to set an intention for yourself on how you authentically want to eat. Now, what I mean by that is you got to listen to your inner self, and it's like, do you actually want to indulge, or do you actually want to eat clean? And it's like a true answer, not a charged answer. If it's charged, like, no, I have to eat clean. Okay, then it's like we're trying to control over the top of maybe other truth. Or if it's like, I'm going to indulge because I need to indulge because I'm starting my diet right after I come back for the rest of the summer. Right? That's also like not healthy mentality. It's just like making the choice. Right? So come up with your authentic way that you would desire to eat this weekend. And support yourself by doing any self-care things that you want to do while you're away. Being around family can be stressful. Being around friends can be stressful. So if there are some of those self-care activities that do make you feel grounded in your normal routine, hopefully one that you love and you've chosen, not one that you have to do or should do, because you're not going to stay consistent with that. You can even just do 5 minutes of that while you're at your weekend. You could do 5 minutes of meditation. You could do 5 minutes of walking. You can do, whatever your thing is. Like 5 minutes is enough. You can put a YouTube video on, and it can be a 10-minute yoga class. Like, it does not need to be a whole hour. It doesn't need to be perfect, but just ticking that box for yourself of like, yeah, I took action towards my health. Like, that's awesome. And it's more like, because that's what keeps your energy going. It keeps you feeling good. And then like, as you master that swirl, and like, I wish there was something different that I could say other than like, if you don't know how to master that swirl, then consider getting help with the swirl. Consider that this is more than just a weight loss problem. This is a mental and emotional problem. If you want to heal it for good, like, that habit and pattern will always, 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 always come back for the rest of your life if you never get past that cycle and you learned how to feel the emotions, right? How to actually change the thinking, and specifically in relationship to food. Okay, obviously this bleeds out into every area of life where you're probably hard on yourself, or any mistakes you make, or certain ones, or financial mistakes, or whatever that is for you. Got some good barking again. So you can always get, through that by controlling again. You can hire another personal trainer. You can do some sort of major thing. But again, unless you hear the full pattern, that will always come back. And I'm just a stand for you to live the best, happiest, healthiest life, where you're most present, you're happiest, you're excited to live your life. And just know that that's possible for you. So take good care of yourself this holiday. Make it whatever kind of holiday you want it to be. And we'll see you for the next episode. If you are serious about taking action on your struggle with food, body, and weight, then this is for you. Go ahead and text the word hypnosis to 855-BE-ALIVE. That's 855-232 5483. Immediately after texting that number, you will get access to our free training that will tell you why you can't figure the food, body, and weight thing out, why you can't keep weight off even after you've been successful in the past, and how to actually overcome it, including a mini hypnosis session at the end. Don't miss out. Text the word hypnosis to 855-BE-ALIVE. That's 855-232-5483.